Hill, Essex, Preston Park, and Brighton.
Hi, it's great to meet you.
Welcome to Pop-Up Research Station. And
Hello. Hi.
hi, yeah. Sorry for I don't know what was going on with all of that stuff that was happening with the time.
It's okay.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead because Pop-Up Research Station, we have an agenda, and I thought I'd put you first so that you could kind of introduce yourself. It's just basically an introductionary meeting. I'm going to put myself on off camera because I have this procedure done with my eye. I don't really want to be on screen right now, but I did want to introduce myself to you. I'm Alpha Bruton. I'm the research and development consultant, and you'll be working with me periodically with the museum and showing up and kind of doing some reports and feedback on Pop-Up Research Station. And then you'll kind of figure out your internship and what you will be doing once you're at the museum. Again, that's my introduction. So this is just basically an introduction for you to introduce yourself, talk about yourself, and I did read your bio and your intro letter, but this is a time for you to introduce yourself and kind of give a little bit about your background and why you're interested in curatorial practice and being at the Sojourner Truth African Heritage Museum.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's very nice to meet you. Thank you again for having me. I appreciate it. My name is Limwell. I go by he, him pronouns. I am a studio art major at Sacramento State with an emphasis in printmaking. And I chose printmaking specifically because I feel like the method of creating multiple copies is, I think that is such a vessel for like collaboration and such a tight-knit community. I really do feel like printmaking is such a way, it's just a great way to have a community centered around collaboration, care, self-expression. And I really enjoy the kind of I mean, for me, I also really enjoy how the mark making you make with printmaking can be translated onto all copies you make. And I just think that's so special because I feel like that's, to me, the closest an artist can get with their art. And I think that's really cool. Um, I am also I'm also working towards a certificate in curatorial studies at Sat State. I have loved museums ever since I was young. I think museums are such a great vessel for teaching and learning, and I think that I would love to become like a museum curator after I graduate from college. I think there is a lot to be learned from, and just there's so much I resonate with in regards to museums and how they kind of teach visitors and guests about how the messages that were so prevalent and important in the past, and it's like translated through artworks or documents. And I resonate how those messages can be applied to today, and we can look back upon the past and kind of see, oh, what is changed or what has been new and what we can do in the future. And so I really enjoy how the legacies and the histories of our ancestors have really allowed us to do what we can do. And as a museum curator, I would love to highlight and emphasize that for many other people. Um, let's see what else. I am a very artistic student. I have, besides printmaking, I've done a bunch of digital art. I've done crochet. I've done sewing. I really love doing multimedia stuff, especially more like tactile things that you can hold. And I just think I really love sharing my art with people. Again, I feel like art is such a community centric kind of like I I just think it's so special for everyone to be involved in it.
Well, thank you for that. Do you have a site you could take us to so we can kind of look at your work?
Um, let's see. I don't have my personal website up and running right now, although I would be very much happy to send you some pictures of what art pieces I'm very proud of. Do, do, do. Give me 1 second. Art pieces. Do, do, do. Da, 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 da. Sorry, give me one moment. Send. Oh, I do have many of my art pieces on my Instagram if you'd like me to share that with you.
That'd be great.
Yes, I'll put it in the chat. Yeah, so on my Instagram, it is most of my recent works are based off of, or are of course, printmaking. And I've done a lot of, what was it? I, I've been wanting to participate in zine fairs for the longest time because I feel like the ease of which people can create zines is something that I'm really interested in. And so I've made a few prints regarding zines and kind of just advertising the importance of zines in a community. You might see, here's this. You might see this art piece on my Instagram. I apologize for the quality. Um, but it's definitely one of my favorites. It says make zines.
Okay, I'm looking for your Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Do, do, do.
Mhm. Oh, I guess I have to go into Instagram to find this, huh?
Mm. I have a few pictures that I'm able to send you real quick,
Oh yeah,
actually.
let do that because I'm over here kind of fishing around, looking for your site. I'm almost there, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for your patience. Give me 1 second.
I'm always just curious. It doesn't weigh in on, on, the internship, but it's always great to see, because that's something you made. Stone's Cat Soup. So you're competing with a catering company and you're competing with, yeah, two catering companies. But let's see, there.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So let me get back into the Zoom and then that way I can share it. I'm right here. Sorry.
No, you're all good.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay, here we are. Yeah. Is this you? This is you, right?
Yes, that is me. That is me. Do,
Oh,
do,
wow. This is the piece you made here. This piece is you?
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to receive a grant when I attended American River College. It
Mm-hmm.
was the Awesome Art Grant. And after pitching them my idea of a sort of dragon trench coat, I was able to receive the funds necessary to really make it. It took over like the course of a year or so, so I'm very happy
Oh,
with
this
it.
is amazing. This is crochet and because the image is small. Whoa, the back of it like a dragon. Look at you.
I'm still super, super proud of that one.
Uh-huh. Oh, amazing. Yeah, I love the art of crochet. I'm a crocheter myself. Um,
Ooh, what do you like crocheting?
well, let's keep this about you.
Oh, sorry.
I just everything without pattern. So I can see this here. This is amazing. So you had a fashion show or other people in this fashion show?
Yes, I was invited to participate in a fashion show, kind of highlighting the talents of many other community college students that I was
Mm-hmm.
friends with. And for both of my pieces, I chose to do crochet. I, if you click the right
I'm gonna go
button,
back. Excuse me. Let me go
oh, you're
back.
all good. You're all good.
Okay,
Y
there
yeah,
we are.
I that is the recent printmaking exhibition I was
Mm-hmm.
also able to be a part of. I'm very happy with that one.
Let's see. Here we go. A little bit in. I don't know what you're doing here. Having food or something? Is this okay?
Yes,
There you go. All right. Part two of my print making final. Using dry point, and tell me a little bit about your dry point method.
yeah, dry point is so with dry point, I kind of use I believe like a metallic stylus, and I'm able to draw on top of a plastic piece, like a plastic panel. And I can just draw on top of a sketch that I can do. And once I put ink on top of that panel, I'm able just to print that multiple times. And that's how you kind of get this kind of sketchy quality that I really enjoy. And
Hmm.
I used sheen collé to add some color, so that's the red that you see in this piece. Yeah.
And it's called back pedal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. I'm taking this as a self-portrait.
Yes, yes, these are.
So for the spring semester,
Mm-hmm.
What is it that Marquette's? This piece
Maquettes.
is about cutting my hair. What, you had dreads or something? And
No,
and
no.
Mhm.
I had like shoulder length hair for a
Mhm.
while. And it was this piece was kind of about like how I presented gender and how I kind of yeah, just how I kind of grappled with that.
Okay, and then your traditional Filipino garment.
Yeah, that's the shirt that I'm wearing in this like self-portrait. It's called a
Mhm.
barong. It's typically for like formal events.
This is your planning my next printmaking design.
Yeah. This is just one of the sketches I did for it. I did a lot of like self-portrait stuff that spring.
Hmm.
Oh, this is the print that I was describing earlier.
And this is can you tell me a little bit about it? Because I didn't have the visual up at the time.
No, no, yeah, you're all good. So I really love zine fairs. Again, I feel like there is a really easy was it? I think it's really easy for anyone to make a zine. I think that making zines and also the idea of sharing them and kind of spreading them around to the community around you, I think that is just really important and it leads to a much more connected community. And so for this piece, I kind of wanted to make like a poster kind of advertising the importance of doing so. And I wanted the visuals to be kind of cute and how they're like a bunch of different animals all kind of collaborating on different ideas and sharing what they have.
Okay, so you are, this is great because the museum, you're familiar and you know yourself way around Instagram, and then also you're graphic, would I say a graphic artist or
Yes.
no? Okay, great. Because there's a lot of graphic things that need to be done in the curatorial practice in programming this at Sojo. And Sojo is what we call the museum for short, instead of,
Hmm.
Sojourner Truth African Heritage Museum. The nickname that the director gave the museum is Sojo, and it's a abbreviated word, for Sojourner Truth at the beginning of her name.
Right.
So, and they do a lot of, and I don't know if you visited, had a chance to visit the website and look at some of their TikTok videos, and how they're doing history, and how, they're, you guys do a lot of social media, and can manipulate the graphics and everything on those sites. So this is great. All right, there you go again.
These are just characters I made.
Hmm.
Oh, that's a piece I made when I attended San Jose State. It's another like kind of it's another poster I made about kind of not needing excuse me, sorry. I had a lot of feelings at that time about kind of my how me and my classmates were kind of doing a lot for like completing art assignments and trying not to get buried under the weight of like grades in school life because
Hmm.
I would consider the animation program at San Jose State to be very rigorous and but at the same time I learned like so much. It's just that I also had a lot of strong feelings about like kind of it was kind of like it felt bad seeing a lot of my classmates being buried underneath all that pressure. So that was
Burnout.
what this poster is about.
Okay. All right. And then here we go again. Oh, I really, and this is, talk a little bit about this piece here, your
Yeah,
sketchbook pages.
absolutely. So that this is a blind drawing I did in one of the rooms at San Jose State. What I did basically was I used a pen and without looking at my sketchbook page, I sketched the contour lines of everything I saw ahead of me. And so after I was done doing so, it took about like 4 hours or so.
Mm-hmm.
I put some color and value to make it look more like the real life objects I was seeing.
Good job.
Thank you.
Contour is such a, you know, unforgiving,
Yeah,
art form that sometimes when you come out of that, it doesn't look anything like anything, but you really capture it.
I agree. Yeah.
So basically you're animating art, digital art, and a printmaker. So
Yes.
I'm gonna kind of go through oh, that's where you talk about you had long hair. There you go.
Oh no, that's
That's
just
not you. That's
that's no.
who
No,
it.
that's someone who commissioned me for a sweater.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Nice.
Thank you.
Oh.
That was the first crochet piece I made.
So you did a lot of patchwork. I really love this here. This is
Yeah, I really love doing patchwork, mostly because I find it difficult to make the whole thing, like the whole garment in one fell swoop. So it's much easier for me just to do patchwork.
Okay, because I'm typing this letter from Melissa. I'm
okay.
it. Okay, thank
I'm talking to the director right now. She just called to ask me a question. Sorry.
Oh
Sorry
no,
about
you're all
that.
good.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
all good.
So I'll get back to her in a sec. So I'm gonna go through these, and we have a few more minutes left on our call. I'd like for you to go by the museum and kind of introduce yourself. They are open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 12 to 5. I think it's important for you to go and look at the environment that you're going to be working. You don't necessarily have to introduce yourself when you come into the room, so that you can get a feel, for, how folks greet you, and how, just a feel of going someplace And I don't know if you've been to the museum yet, location. If you're driving, if you're on public, transportation, kind of look around, look at the public art experience from the moment, you get off. If you're taking the train out there, the bus out there, or kind of walking around, and just look at the work that the museum has been doing, their mural collection. Take yourself on a self-directed tour if you like. Um, and let me come out of this here. Um, and introduce yourself to the director. I let her know that you're introducing yourself, today. And that you don't have to make an appointment to go by, but just go and introduce yourself and take a look around, and then introduce yourself, and then let us know your decision, because I know you have to get back with Professor Miller and let her know, eh, fill out your paperwork so you can get started. And again, give us your schedule. The museum is open, again, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and try to work it around your schedule. And the director will let you, give you your assignment, or, you can kind of sit down and talk about what you'd like to actually contribute there and what the greatest need is.
Got it. That,
Okay.
yeah, sounds
All
great.
right.
I'm very
Anything
excited.
else you want to kind of, say before you go? But I'll let you know when you can circle back midterm and kind of give a report back to us here on Pop-Up Research Station,
Mhm.
and then those reports, I'll send the recorded piece of this to Dr. Miller to let her know that we've met. You've introduced yourself, and the next steps, you'll be going to the museum.
Sounds great.
All right.
I, yeah, again, thank you so much for the opportunity. It was very nice speaking with you today. I will be visiting the museum this Thursday
Great.
at around 1 p.m. So
Right. I'll
I
let her
might,
know.
sounds great. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you again.
Hey, hi, Bill, Liza.
Hi, Bill.
Hello, Liza. Hi, Alpha. How you doing?
Hello.
Hi, that was our an intern. The Sojourner Truth African Heritage Museum has a relationship with California State University Sacramento Art Department, and so they're sending interns over to the museum, and that was the young man that was applying for a curatorial internship um, this fall semester.
Okay.
That's good energy.
Yeah. I think he'll be a good fit over there with some of the docents and the other docents that are over there. Yeah. All right. So this is what I'm kind of looking like these days here. I've taken this patch off, the bigger patch off. I have one more
Oh,
left, and tomorrow I go for the second procedure,
I
which will
know
be.
nothing about this.
Yeah, well, I kind of be quiet about stuff, but I have chronic dry eye, and my special eye specialist, she's doing this procedure, and the procedure is called it's a amniotic ocular surface, where they're taking a membrane tissue and putting it on my eye, to kind of shield the surface of my eye.
It's a good,
So I would,
good thing, though.
yeah, we'll see what happens. But it is called, what is a human antibiotic amniotic membrane tissue. You
are
know,
are you feeling much pain?
It's discomfort more than pain, and having a contact lens placed over your eye. And I never wear contact lenses. I'm just starting to wear reading glasses. A lot of this on-screen, work that I do, all the, screens that I work on, and not, I was just constantly putting liquid tears in to kind of lubricate my eyes. And it's really important, to keep our eyes lubricated because we can scratch that membrane and then that can lead to other problems with sight. So,
Okay.
yeah, so that's what I'm trying to correct. And then I go in tomorrow to get the other eye done and have it patched up for a week. And then we'll see what happens after that. Like that. So, all right. Moving forward, it's not about me and my health stuff. No, but just, having these procedures done that are necessary and, like that. So, all right, Bill, any updates? What's
Well,
going on?
did I had a special dinner at the Osaka Japanese Garden near the Museum of Science and Industry. I took some wonderful pictures, and
You want to share?
yeah, I'll share some of that. It was really nice. We had a guest speaker who uh, he gives tea ceremonies, Japanese tea ceremonies. Excuse me, and the program or the facility is located on the north side of Chicago. So it was very interesting. So what I'll do is I'll kind of pull up some things so you can see. Let's see, where are we?
Well, Liza's gonna have to walk you through that again. No?
No, I got it.
Okay.
He's a
let's see.
master now.
He's a- So I'll put you on just the speaker view.
Okay.
All right.
This is as I walk through the garden, it has various rock sculptures and beautiful evergreens and shrubs. So this is one of the walking paths. And then let's see this. Let's see. And this is another rock feature, which was very interesting. No, just a second. Um, this is a close-up of they have a creek, a pond, and it's very vigorous with sounds and energy. And so I was shooting the rocks, how the evening sun illuminated the rocks that were there. And then let's see what else. Um, this is the creek to the Japanese garden, and around 6 p.m. And then let's see what I got here. It just this was I'm really impressed with the rock sculptures that are present. So this is another one that I was able to view and experience. And let me see what else I have. This was nice because the sun cast a hazy shade over it, and that was really nice to it sort of casted a haze in that area near the bridge. And let's see, where are we? This is another nice view. Yeah, this is a nice view leading up to the Japanese bridge. And let's see, where else are we? And this is another view of it. And let's see. And then there's a few other ones. Let's see. Yeah, that's a nice view. And let's see what else was. And this one was nice as well. So it really highlighted the garden space, and there's an alarm bell seems to be ringing because they know that they're going to get, they were saying 9,000 visitors a year for the Obama library. And so they didn't know how they were going to handle the visitor capacity that's there. So this gives you a view of my experience there on Thursday. The food was just delicious. So now how do I get out of this? What do I have to do? Do you hear me?
This is beautiful, Bill. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was just trying to get out of it.
Gorgeous.
So how do I get back to where I was?
It might be disappearing if you want to lower your finger down.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Bill, for that. I mean,
Hey,
Pop-Up Research Station always has a learning curve for everybody that comes on, and we encourage you to use them. Bill, you're really getting good at sharing those photographs with your phone. Now we're going to work on you with these entrance and exits and finding the share buttons and all those kinds of things. So, we're going to not go into Maryland because I know you're with a client right now, Maryland. And Marilyn was going to give us an update on post conversation about the August 9th, the Mandela, and also Build, and also the Moonlight Social. Because I know she's with a client.
Okay.
Hold on, everybody. I hope this phone doesn't start switching from mute to unmute, but can you all hear me now?
We
Yes,
sure
we
can.
can.
Okay, thank you. I want to say good afternoon to everybody that's on.
Hello, Marilyn.
Hello.
Hello.
Moonlight Social, we felt, was a success. It was more than what we had in the past in terms of participation. Take some time. So it turned out very well according to the particulars. We do know that there were some incidents that we knew about, but the participants didn't. I did get a lot of feedback, positive feedback on how that went. People were very excited about it. They loved the music. And in addition to that, we will probably want to do something like that on another large scale following year, next year. The Mandela Bill turned out excellent. We have decided from the meeting that we've had that this will become an annual event for us. The participation was great. The day was beautiful. We worked hard in getting that together. We had hoped that in the evening we would have had the adult or the evening participation. We didn't. Sunset was moving in quickly, but nevertheless, that turned out well. The music was great. As I said, the atmosphere was what we wanted it to be, very relaxing, very serene, just a very comfortable setting. The music was great, and I had the opportunity to speak with everyone that was there. They gave very positive reviews on that. So I want to certainly thank you all that participated in making this a success, because that it was. So now we're looking forward to what we have coming up in the next few months. Well, actually, next month. So that is the review that I have for you all today.
Here's a quick one, Marilyn. I need to catalog and locate native plants in that area, because I want to work on a native plant arrangement near the is it the
I-80 corridor.
no, it's the where the logs are for sitting.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
so do I need to reach out to you as far as native plant locations?
I think that would be good. You can reach out to the both of us. However, uh, I, in my opinion, have a better eye on where I would like for the location to be. This could be a joint effort between Carl and I as far as the plants, or did you have specific plants in mind?
Well, just they're in succession where they would flower, and then another group of plants will spring or carry flowers. But what I wanted to say is that I was at the Mortimer Arboretum, and I sort of got a look at their layout. But
Mhm.
at the very front entrance, before you go further into the uh, just say open areas where sculpture is located,
Yes,
they have a beautiful array of flowers.
yes.
Yeah, and I thought that that would enhance uh, that area where the logs are, just yeah, to be more inviting or a sense of beauty.
I understand what you're saying. My concern, however, is that area is really where we bring in heavy equipment and so forth and so on. So I'm not sure if that would be the best area. We can confer with Carl on that, because uh, I'm thinking about the mowing situation, with him mowing the lawn and all of that. But it's up for discussion. I see exactly what you're talking about, because Morton Arboretum does have a beautiful entryway, and I've marveled over that myself. However, again, I think we need to have a conversation about that, because unlike Morton Arboretum, our grounds aren't always protected, and we consider things such as damage or accessibility to equipment, or so it depends on the location also that you're talking about, or
Okay.
that we can agree upon in that area.
Yes, I agree with you about conversation on location. So it doesn't have to be there, but we need just a site where
Yes,
yeah, that's
yes, that's inviting, as
yeah,
you mentioned. That gives that presentation that the Morton Arboretum gives as we're approaching.
yeah.
I understand that clearly, and I do agree with that.
Okay, good. And so what I have to do is connect with you as far as uh, scouting out the area locations and you know within open lands to so we can talk more about that. But
Right.
I would like to see it. I wonder it's not a large endeavor, but I was thinking maybe we could have that ready for October.
Right. Okay. Um, let's see what happens. I do want to mention that I did send an email out Can I be heard? Am I heard still?
Oh, yeah. You're fine.
Okay, this phone. I did send out an email to Mr. Sawyer as well as the village president in regards to needing to have a meeting, be it by Zoom or whatever this weekend, so that we can begin to discuss concerns for next month event. I have not gotten a response back yet, but Bill, if I could say, per our conversation yesterday, Alpha and I, we thought it would be good if we could have a meeting on Saturday, maybe sometime in the afternoon with Mr. Sawyer, so that we can talk about how this gala event should look and funding involved in that.
Yes, I agree.
And as you're mentioning about the plants and the presentation with that as well. So is that good to look at Saturday still?
Yes, I'm available on Saturday. I mean, it has to be, I know I have a 2 o'clock appointment, but yeah, I can do Saturday early.
I know for me, I would have to do that after 12 noon. But even if we could do it later in the evening, anytime that's would be convenient for all of us, because that needs to be addressed ASAP. As I mentioned to Alpha, I didn't realize how quickly October the 4th is approaching. And we need to address that because this is a big major event. That's when you're doing the installation. And we want to have the appropriate response. We want to have the people to come out. We want this to be an event where we have a lot of the elected officials, even across portions of the state to come. So we need to include Mr. Sawyer in this, of course. He would be a big functional part of it, as well as maybe even the village president. So
Yeah, you know, I had planned for a nature photography workshop and also maybe an exhibition on plant life in open lands. And so I think right now, I think the photography course would have to go into next spring, not this. It's just it's too tight for me to work both of those.
and I can understand because I think do remember you mentioning about coming into the open lands, I think, and did we discuss maybe October, November, something like that? I don't remember even if it was September.
It was September because we have this block of time that artists are in the studio. Like I know Christine and Peter need all the time in the studio um, to get their work done and then to get it over. I have to give Mr. Sawyer a timeline for when the installations are going to happen. We have to give them, when the concrete pillars are going to be, the bases are going to be installed in, and all of that needs to be discussed.
Okay, okay. I had thought that when this would be done, in terms of Bill, you coming out and doing what you were suggesting, I thought this may have been a good time to invite some of the classrooms out.
Oh yeah, I welcome that. I think that's very good. Yeah, and I think that'll be a start to beautification as well as an inviting space where visitors can uh, connect. Because I think as the months go by, we're going to have to be concerned about what native plants are fusing with art and sculpture.
Right.
And yeah, and so that's a good way of just being able to locate, uh, different plant species that are near the sculpture areas. But
Um, that
but that
sounds
that that comes later. I think we can develop that as time goes on. But I think having about the beautification space, a more inviting array of plant life
yes,
and
yes.
at one site.
And I can agree with that. And that's why this meeting, if we can get one started by Saturday, would be important, I feel.
Yes.
So I will certainly keep you all abreast of the response I should get from Mr. Sawyer in regards to that.
The
Because
trustees and village manager work on Saturdays?
no, they don't.
Okay.
That's why I said Saturday, anytime that we can have this meeting via a Zoom or a conference, however electronically, media wise, we can work this out because it's a very important meeting. I have a conference to go to this week. If I didn't have that conference, I would really like to have had this meeting ASAP because we're already the what are we, the second day of or are we the third?
It's
Look,
October 4th.
is it October 4th? Well, I know, and October 4th is less than a month away now. So with what we're looking at and how we want to do this, and I'll share uh, with the rest of you, as Alpha and I were talking, uh, we brought up the word gala, which is on the agenda. And we talked about what we knew from ourselves, what galas were. So that's altogether different than what we would have ordinarily planned for the Oaks and Folks. But since gala is on there, we need to make this a gala affair. So that involves more detailing of what we would need and like to see and how we want it to go. And that's why this meeting is so important.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, yes, it does.
And with you mentioning, Bill, about the presentation of how the open lands should look, we're talking again about budgeting, financial budgeting. So we really need to move on this quickly, I feel.
Mhm. Yes, I'm in
Well,
agreement
yeah,
with.
we're available, both Bill and I are available at any time.
Right, right. I just wanted to at least be focused on this because I thought about it. I had said Saturday, but my conference is not going to last all night. If we had to schedule something that would work for all of us, even then during that time would be good. I just know we need to have conversation about it. We need to come to an agreement, a conclusion, and be prepared for this event on October because it's major. It's a major event.
Yeah, I agree. And so the green space that will be created will will invite the public, and as well as we need to do maybe educate the high schoolers on native plants in art in the woods or in open lands.
Sure, sure.
My understanding from Marilyn's conversation was that she really, really wants to focus on the education of open land, not like, what the park district is doing, because some of the people that's on her commission are cross, that's basically crossing over and working on the park district and working under different types of programs and committees, and they don't get it that this open lands needs to focus on education and not
Yeah.
the event, like not the party, not the, what Park District is doing. And, like we had that food truck that showed up out there, and that was something like what, for that outdoor event. And it was like, and some other things that we really don't want to have happen in the future out there. I talked to her about catering and having, people come in, and how we need to set up, if that word gala is used in this conversation, for the afternoon, to kind of dress it up a little bit more, but not by having, a food truck show up, and selling food, but, a licensed, caterer to come and bring bites or something like that. We can get into the weeds of programming later. But just make it a celebration and not this whole other kind of atmosphere that we don't want. And then by Bill talking about coming out and educating, and having the high schools come out, we're involving them. I know the liaison from the school district wants, what do you say, call it a nature gala? But the liaison from the school district 152 and a half, she really wants to include the art departments. I don't know if they have horticultural programs going on at those high schools, but to kind of incorporate them and have their teachers come out, to the gala, and then, so we can start working on curriculum, development out there, and really focusing on and I'm listening to Marilyn, and she continues to say, it's about education and not about the other things that could be a sideshow, for what we're doing. Even though this is art in the woods, but our focus again is on the education of, folks that are coming out there.
And you're right, Alpha. And as I also have mentioned, we are not in competition with Park District. They hold different events. We are not trying to be Park District. We are an educational tool. We are an arboretum. And I have to remind my new commissioners that has to be respected. What we are and what we've done over those years has been hard labored work. And now with you all on board with the Arts in the Woods, that just adds credence to what we've been doing, what we've been wanting, and it's finally coming into fruition. And I'm totally excited about it, but I don't want this to become a little circus. And my words have always been, I'm not looking for any hostile takeover with ideas from the inexperienced. I also thought in terms of the gala event, a lot of this would need to be RSVP'd by different representatives from the state, from local government. We want them out there to know what we have. And I think that information needs to get out soon, because October is not far off at all. I don't want to leave this event strictly to the residents or just the board. It needs to go further than that. We need to really get on the map. And that is my view for the open lands beautification.
Yes,
Sounds good.
And
So-
Christine, I'm excited because Carl did show me where you and he have decided to put your work. And I'm just excited about it all. But I was glad that he showed that to me because I didn't know. And I can't imagine how that is going to look. It's going to be beautiful. Everything that you all are doing is really going to make a huge statement. And that's why I'd really like for this to be a considered as a gala event, because it is. You're unveiling your sculptural work, and this is not small fry. It's really at large, and I want the community to see. But I think the elected officials, state reps, and all of that need to see this as well. I'd like to have media coverage from the news channels as well to be out there to see what we're doing and what we've done. And that would help move forward, Bill, as we were talking about with the schools coming out and identifying plants or whatever it is we
Yeah.
decide to do.
Yeah, I'm strong on the topic of why native plants matter. And whole, you know, global economic as well as development in terms of allowing people to see the value, the sustainability of native plants.
And what you're saying actually mirrors what I've been wanting, because we are pushing for native plants. And as being a master gardener, that's what we talk about, native plants to our community. And many people don't know, many residents don't know about native plants. They know about plants and what they like, but I'm pushing information for native plants for our community, for our for part of the state, for our zone, all of that.
And I talk with Carl about a labeling system, where he said because of the funding, it was hard to get plant labels for the native plants, and that's a big concern. So we need to address that.
We do. We need to address that. Debbie and I were out Saturday in the open land, and we were doing work out there. And we even had talked about plants, trees, and uh, bushes out there that we had that had no labeling. I think anything that people can come in contact with should have a label to know what that plant is.
Yes.
So realize we need to do better than that. But what our problem has been is that we never have had the teamwork to do that. So if we can eventually get the schools out, like you said, and get more participation and more help, we're able to label what we have not been able to label.
That's great.
So you're talking my language, Bill.
Okay, I'm with you. So that's why it's important that I connect with Carl and yourself to know where things are, and because eventually we want to create a map, where someone can enter the space and find locations.
Yeah.
Find locations of beauty, locations of sculpture, and just embracing open land as a whole. But you know what? I was at the economic meeting Thursday, and I saw this. There's a large creek or pond that the office went for.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that?
That's a man-made pond that I'd like to think is, maybe it's not a man-made pond, but what they did do, they did add of course, the water spout to it, and they cleaned it up. But it was an issue in the past because although it was there, it did not have any maintenance. So of course it had all of the uh, debris from fallen leaves and branches and all of that in there, and it didn't look good. So that community over there, that condo community, complained until they finally were able to clean it up. So clean it up and have it looking very presentable, but it is pretty.
Yeah, it was a beautiful experience. You know,
Hmm.
having breakfast and seeing uh, that that atmosphere.
Yes, yes. So,
There's a lot of hidden gems over there. When I went to the parade, um, the hazelnut parade, just to come through that back way where the police department is, I wouldn't have known that huge pond was over there behind the police station.
yeah, absolutely. We we have 53 acres of woodland. The open land arboretum is just 22 acres. So eventually, we'd like to branch out even further to use some of the other acreages that we have. One young lady talked about having an Audubon. Well, that's something that could be in the future. Someone talked about a greenhouse. That's something in the future as well. We, we have ideas, but right now we're certainly focusing on the art, the main portion of the woodland, which we're using the most, and which most people see, and which most people take advantage of. So there's a lot that can be created. There's a lot that can be developed, and just moving forward to this is just a great start. It's as I say, it's a dream come true for me. So again, I always have to thank you all for being on board. I'm so excited about what you're bringing to the open land. When you talk about investment of 15 years and you finally see a movement that you've been longing for, it's it means a lot. It says a lot. And as I said, with the art that you're bringing, I don't think that's small scale at all, and I don't think.
What happened to Marilyn?
Can you hold on?
We can hear you now.
Okay, this phone is just busy. Okay, but you can hear me. Where did I leave off?
Well,
The advantages of having art and nature combine itself. It took a
Yeah,
long time, but it's moving forward.
but it's moving forward. And again, as I said, I thank you all for taking the challenge, being on board with this, and just the relationship and how this is going to impact what we call and what is an arboretum, and how this is going to impact us as well, because as I remind uh, those that don't know and the residents that we are listed globally under an arboretum. So we have a lot in our community. We have all of the sustainable resources there. We utilize it, uh, and we want it known. As you said, Alpha Elizabeth, I've always said we're a diamond in the rough. We're shining that up.
Can,
Help us grow.
can
well,
I ask a question? I'm sorry,
Sure.
I'll go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh, Marilyn, are you still with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm looking at a map and I was curious, you said that it's open lands is 53 acres, but it's really 22 acres. Can you explain that? And maybe I'm looking at, I see 80 goes across and so there's a north section and a south section. So yeah, can you explain that?
Well, the area that we're doing the most in is the 22 acreage. A former, and I'm doing the best I can with the historical events of this, but the a former mayor had decided to have a walking trail paved through it.
Uh-huh.
As you all have all met Debbie, Debbie had introduced Carl to the open land. And it was so heavily wooded, Debbie said, that she, and I don't know if it was her husband or whoever, but she decided that it needed to be uh, worked on.
Mm-hmm.
She, however they did it, they began to work on it. And she brought Carl on board. Carl probably may have been at that time working with Public Works. And that's how he got involved with it years ago. And so at some point, a mayor that had been installed decided to bring the walking trail through it. And that's when I began to notice, but that was as far as that was, me noticing that. But then it began to progress even more after that, particularly, I'd like to say, when I was introduced to becoming a part of the open land. I came with ideas of art. I came in with ideas of flowers, plants, and mass garden. So we progressively slowly started producing that. But the other areas are heavily wooded. We're working through there some. They're heavily wooded and they're not prepared, let me say, for residential trafficking.
I see. I see. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
And so eventually, do you think you'll be doing something with that other acreage?
Sure, sure. For example, Alpha, I know you and Bill probably saw that other man-made lake, which is back there by the police station, where you parked, Alpha, during the Hazelnut Festival. That area there, we've cleared some, we cleared a pathway through there. I thought since someone had brought up about bird watching and all of that, that might have been a good sanctuary for that. But yes, we will eventually start moving in those directions. Because I think that the 22 acreage is going to get too full at some point, and we want to start spreading out. And I remind Carl of that as well. We need to start spreading out eventually and making other parts of the acreages accessible for education as well, be it Audubon or should it be a nursery of some kind. So we have plans in that. I think one of the major things is we need to get younger people involved to forward our dreams and wishes on how that can be done.
Yeah, that's so
Great.
important. The
That's
younger
so
generation.
important. Yes. So with the art coming, it makes a huge statement. It, like the saying goes, it says we are somebody. And so we're totally excited about that. And that's why it's important for us to get the elected officials all across the state that have no idea that we exist to know that we exist. And help in development with programs that can be used out in the open lands. And I think we have done a wonderful job in just becoming an arboretum and globally, but that has been as far as it has gone. It needs to go further. It will go further. And thanks to you all and your innovative art, I see that happen.
So I've been trying to read this here thing for you, Marilyn, and I'm still finding notes in the box that I put up there for feedback. And it said, nice program. Mandela Project was well thought out. Thank you, Carol. And great community engagement. Keep the programs coming. Love the jazz. I think this is a very nice program to bring people together. The Mandela Project is very nice. I hope to see more of these programs in different neighborhoods. I mean, we're going to do it there in Hazel Crest, but I just I keep finding, feedback. And what I'm going to do, or Bill and I are going to do, is put our report together because our charge is to submit quarterly reports to the commission. And then Mr. Sawyer is using our reports on the Hazel Crest Open Land tab on the website there, and then he'll add our report onto that. But and then all of the other comments that were returned, and the things that we were listening to, we wrote down comments, you know um you know while we were out there, where people didn't write things down, but they made comments out loud and stuff like that. And so we'll have that report ready for the September 15th meeting, and an update at that point. We'll put a newsletter I'm going to show a newsletter from another organization that sent me their updated newsletter. They're called, what is it? Roots and Routes. And they do this whole thing with the Park District here in Chicago and the Film Museum as such. But they sent their report of what they did for the summer. So I'm just going to kind of I copy them, but I'm going to use it as a template, to put my report together, because I really like the way it was. And I was on their curatorial committee when they put together their gathering spaces, and to show how they did an event out there as well. We're not copying, but we're using things as resources to add to what we're doing in Hazel Crest, and we will share with that community to try to get their voice, and a representative from them to come over and look at the work that we're doing as well. So I know you're with a client still, Marilyn.
Yes, but I can hear you. What I'd like to add to that too is also that every year our commission, which Carl puts together, does a report, which every commission is supposed to have a year-end report of what was done. So he's very meticulous with that, and includes what we've done, how many hours, how many volunteers, so forth. It's pretty precise with that. Would that be helpful with what you're looking for as well?
Yeah. Yes, it would be, because he gives updates every day. I get his emails every day, of the updates, and, motivational, he just sends out a lot of motivational things, for us, to cheer us up during the, to start our day. But then when he goes out there, he's been giving these really meticulous reports about the work that he's been doing. But we're going to kind of give an overview of what we're doing in the arts out there, and then we can add his reports as well. Or get his report and then just tag it on to the report that we're going to give Mr.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. So that would be good. But as my immediate focus is, it's getting this gala.
I know. Yeah. So we did. So we were listening. I'm gonna come off camera. We were listening to the comments, and took note. Bill mentioned also when he went to the business breakfast, the need for having local artists engaged in programming out there. And I did talk to an Alan Kern with the Sense of Soul Music School that's right out there in Hazel Crest, and then he straddled the lines of South Holland and some of the other communities. And he's the school that Tara got the certificates from, for some of the students or the youth that came out, to come to his music school. But we also want to reach out to the music schools in the 152 and a half school district, and to be inclusive of them in our programming as well as Sense of Soul. But I did get a call from him, and he's interested in coming out and providing, the soundscapes during the reception. And we had been on one meeting, and Peter had made a recommendation that we had trios in each of the installations, so that when people are
And
coming.
that idea sticks with me because I love it. I think I went to an art showing or have seen one where that's what they had. Sorry for cutting you off, but I was so excited when you mentioned that because that's what I had pictured in mind, was to have at every unveiling a separate trio of some kind with their own separate tunes that could enhance what's going on with the individual piece.
Yes, and then that way, when folks come down, that we can vision it out. When people come down the trail, they visit Peters, and then, Christine, is yours past Peters or before Peters, or where's your placement?
Mine is right on Holmes. I'm very close to the police station parking lot.
Okay, great.
It's basically, and you can call it another entrance into the gathering space area. I mean, it's right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Peters is down the way, so when folks
Right.
come through, the the
Right.
music, and I let him know that we want acoustic. We didn't want generators out there, contributing. We got cicadas. I guess they'll still be humming out there, when we, when in October. You think they'll still be there?
No.
They will be because by this time the nights would have gotten cooler and hopefully they will hibernate or die, whatever they do. But I don't think they'll be as noticeable. I don't know. Still a little warm.
Well, if they do, they'll contribute to the unique soundscape of Hazel Crest, and it'll just be a plus when we record. But we got to make sure that we bring folks out. I know that Bill is a photographer, but he's going to be doing other things, but a photo documenter that is going to come out and help document. I mean, I've documented. I sat there and documented the soundscape that happened during the Moonlight Social, but we really need someone that has a tripod and has a real camera, not the cell phone, to sit and really record these different spaces, as we go down, and that they're charged to just focus on really capturing the sound. And that way we'll have those soundtracks, that we talked about that are going to be unique to Hazel Crest. So think about that, Bill, because you were saying Lloyd may be able to come out or, and record what we're doing. So there's a lot of planning that has to take place, and we don't really have today to do it, but just to think about other things like Peter added, wanting each of you to have a trio at each of the spaces. And if you're dealing with the acoustics of sound out there, then they won't be competing with each other because they won't have these amps and, all the loudness that comes with that. So, so we got that planned already. And I talked with the music director, but not with the school music department yet, to see if maybe one of the trios could come from the school and one can come from Sense of Soul, but we'll kind of work those things out as we talk more about it. And if you have any other ideas, now is the time to start putting them in there, so that when we start planning, everything goes smooth.
Yes.
I have a question about guests. Can we bring guests? Can we invite people?
Of course.
Okay.
Sure. I just, again, would like to have, in addition to who we bring in our guests, I would like to have, like I said, elected officials.
Sure.
They need to know what the constituents in their community has produced, what they have, and what they're doing. And most don't, because even most residents, I believe, or quite a few, do not know what they have and what's going on with the open lands or that it even exists. So just opening all of that up and making this a very notable event in which it is.
Marilyn, what connection does Hazel Crest have with the other suburbs or villages around? Is there some
Not
sort of?
much, not much. And
Hmm.
I have to say, I really have to say, because we have been so involved in the stewardship of the open lands and not having a large source or adequate source of even volunteers, we weren't able to do much at all.
Mhm.
And so we're opening up some people, other communities somewhat know about us, but we haven't had a person, I would like to say, or haven't had the resources to connect to them like we would have needed. So
We
it
can't.
has,
Yeah, we lost you.
okay, yeah. So it has made a difference. We didn't have a PR person. We didn't have what we needed to push outreach. Uh,
Mhm.
so last year, 2024, was the first time we did a little bit more outreach when we invited the schools out and so forth. So that was great. So we're slow at it. We're very slow because we have not had the volunteers that we've needed. Very few volunteers. Very, very few.
Well, you probably, I'm sure you know that the forest preserves, the various parks of the Chicago Park District, they have a park advisory council. They have friends of, like there are friends of the forest preserves of Cook County. And those are people from which you can, glean, volunteer hours of stewardship and cleanups and things like that. I'm sure you know about that, but of course it's just a matter of organizing and reaching out to these people to form that kind of organization.
Well, when I first started, we did have that program swap. And then after an administration came in and banished that, we did not have their help anymore. When help became available the last few years, I think it was a situation where they needed to get paid, something along those lines. So, COVID came and this happened and that happened, and we no longer had that type of volunteer service.
Yeah.
So now with me and the Master Gardeners, University of Illinois Extension, I did reach out again to one of the one of the lead administration. So she has begun to post that we're available and we need volunteers and who to contact. I think they're kind of slow sometimes to respond because of the large variety of events that they have. But I've reached out, we'll be reaching out some more. We've been so busy working, so to speak, that we haven't had the time or the opportunity to reach out. And that's why Carl has been posting through emails, which has let people know what we were doing and all of that. But I don't believe we've gotten any response. Oh, we'd like to join. Oh, we'd like to be a part of. So we're still working on that. We get a lot of help still from Morton Arboretum.
You do. Great.
Oh yes.
Wow.
They were
There are
out there
some
with the
friends.
tree planting, when we did the tree planting. What month was that? May?
Yep.
Yeah, they were out
Mhm.
there. So just to
Yeah,
kind of
great.
move the needle of the conversation forward, some of the things that we need to have happen ASAP, Marilyn, and something that we didn't do, and I'm sorry, but we should have sent thank you notes to those trustees because the Mandela engagement was about getting those trustees and your commissioners to come and socialize with each other, give feedback in that kind of engagement is what it was. But we haven't sent out thank you notes for them to thank them
You
for
know,
coming out, And then so when we send those thank you notes out, then we need to have that save that date so that they put it on the calendar and not, like you were talking the other day about we need to give them a save that date. So that needs to kind of be done like this week, so that it
absolutely.
goes out in a timely manner to each of them before that board meeting, the trustees meeting for September. But just as a courtesy, it can be done through email, and I don't have their email list, but definitely we need to send it. I saw the president, she came out to the Moonlight social. I had walked past her and she goes, yeah, this is my community. I would come. Like, why would you be surprised that I would come to something that's going on in my community? Well, you're so busy. And all
Mhm.
day long, those commissioners were going to several block parties that were happening in the community. And there was a lot of events that were going on Saturday. And then for us to get the number of participants that we did, that was, a really good number that Mr. Sawyer was glad that we had at least 30 people that came out. And that was a good number for our first, event out there with Arts in the Woods to come and be engaged as part of the process. So it really is important to do follow up. I don't know all of your commissioners. You guys did have your August, meeting and feedback, but again, we need to always be on their mind with doing something special, with sending a thank you for coming out, and then giving them the announcement for October 4th, because we would really like for them to come and celebrate the art that's being installed out there.
And I agree with you on that. And as a matter of fact, I had briefly thought to try to get a thank you out to them, but
Mhm.
as life goes, so many things and envelop over that thought that it didn't happen. But this is a great opportunity to do that and do a save the date.
So I know you're going on a conference this what, tomorrow or this weekend,
It's going to be on Thursday,
Thursday. So that kind of like
Friday.
if you
Hmm.
wanted me to draft a card, I'm not going to volunteer Carol. She does really good graphic work. Did you get a good photo of the Mandela? That would be good to maybe be the image. I'll put you on mute. I'm sorry.
Last graphic got changed by somebody there in the community at the
We're not
last.
talking about that. We talk about we're just gonna keep moving the needle, the
Okay.
conversation forward. But the
Okay.
Mandela that they participated in out there,
Okay.
would be,
No
a good
problem.
image because
Tell
it'll
me what
be
you want. Give me the copy and I'll add it to a graphic and send it to you, Alpha.
all right. Thanks so much.
Alpha, is that going to be the same image or flyer or whatever for the actual event, or is it just
No,
save the date?
the save the date, and it'll be actually the thank you for attending, the
Mhm.
Mandela Bill,
Okay,
and also, that's what I'm, kind of keeping the focus on
right.
for the thank you note, because that's what they did. They came out, and those that came out in that hot sun out there, it was really warm that day, and
When will I
participated.
get that from you, Alpha? When can I
Can we finish the meeting and then, I'll send it to you
Oh,
today?
okay. I already
Okay.
have it.
No, we're just having the conversation now about it. But no, we'll have a different graphic for the gala.
And that should be a flyer, right? Some sort of flyer that we can share with people.
Yes.
Okay,
I want it to be a little more formal than a flyer. And this time I really don't want it manipulated by, as the art consultants, and project managers. I don't want it to, Marilyn, to be manipulated by your person on that commission. Because it did was kind of like it was taken apart and went so many different directions. That was not okay. But we also need to give those anything that goes out like a flyer and stuff, it has to be approved through the village and through Maryland.
I have Christine, your
Yes.
check is available. I wanted to find the best way of getting that to you.
Just mailing it, and it's,
Okay, I'll mail it. I
no
have.
big deal. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. If I had the time, I would go out
No,
and pick it up myself, but I am working 7 days a week. I'm trying to find an 8th day to work on the sculpture. It's just a lot of carving and staining and
okay.
So while we got Christine, do you want to give an update, Christine, on where you are? I did thank you so much for sending that photograph.
Oh, that's okay. I'm just, as I said, I'm just working constantly on it, and it will be ready. And I'm thinking that obviously not going to be installing on October 4th. So a few days before that, I'm going to be in touch with Carl about installing it a few days before the 4th.
Oh, that'd be
And
good.
yeah, and Carl and I also talked about, I mentioned it and he was on board with it, of making a little mulch path that goes from homes
Yes.
through the archway and leading
Yes.
towards the gathering space. And that would, I think, further define the sculpture and also lead people into the gathering space.
Okay, so are we talking about like the weekend of, or the week of the 20, giving you more time, the week of the 29th?
Yeah, something like that. That would do it. Sure.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
had put down Monday, the 29th. The
Yeah.
commission meeting is on the 15th, and then the 23rd is their board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I'm just looking at the calendar right now. And so the 29th, the week of the 29th,
Mm-hmm.
you'll talk about that because I have to, Peter has another timeline because that concrete has to be settled before he delivers his sculpture, because we don't want it to wait and then be like a tower leaning or something like that because it
Mhm.
wasn't dry, or the cement wasn't cured yet. So
Yeah.
Okay.
And
all
I'll
right.
I
Can
have
I-
art. I
Go
have
ahead.
to art soon, so I want to say goodbye to everyone, and I'll
Okay.
see you soon.
All right.
Okay, thanks, Bill.
Yeah,
All
bye
right,
now.
Bill, talk to you later.
Bye, Bill.
All right, and then Carol, you joined us and you have a kind of update. I know you just texted me about you guys got back to Maryland and poor Jess is in there dealing with COVID.
Yes,
What-
my update. Well, right now I am working on my plan for, creating the wind chimes. So excited about it because there's so many possibilities. And trying to get with Carl. He's a busy man. I can't get him, but we'll try so that we can organize how it's installed is a lot about how I make it, how I create it. So, just not waiting on that, but moving forward toward making those kind of decisions. And the materials, there's so many different materials. I originally wanted to get the pipes, and then in doing my research, there's just so many kinds of materials that you can use. Maybe some pipes, maybe some other materials as well. And so just really planning for Arbor Day, and just kind of wanting to be present to Christine and Peter's projects, even though I'm not there, but I will be present to that work. And be celebrating that work as well. Beyond that, I keep wanting to, make a blog post about my time in Hazel Crest. It's just that my next project is like September 28th.
No.
Christine, if I
Yes,
can interject one moment.
yes.
Take the phone off. If when you and when your installation is finished, so that could there be an unveiling instead of it sitting out exposed?
What do you
Well, if, I guess you would have to get some big tarp or something to put over
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I could bring a tarp. Yeah, I'm gonna write that down.
Okay. And
All
I,
right,
I
yeah,
I may have some too. I just think it would be more exciting if it's
sure.
not pre-exposed out there.
That's a great idea. All right. All right.
Good.
Yeah, I've got tarps. Yeah.
Okay. And if
Yeah.
there's more, I have some as well.
Mm-hmm. Great.
In
All
fact,
right.
when Carl meet out there, I may wander over there, of course, just to see what's going on as well.
Uh-huh. It shouldn't, I told him how tall I want these two trees to be cut down to, only about 8 feet. And then
Okay.
it's just a matter of, and he's gonna get his chainsaw out and make the notches for the
Okay.
sculpture to sit in. And,
Okay.
and it is heavy. So, there's probably some sort of machinery he has that will, does he have there's a boom truck, right? That he can
Yes.
use?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
it is.
yeah, well, I'm sure it'll go fine, and I'll be talking to him before that.
Is
Yeah.
as part of your project going to be concreted into the
No,
ground? Oh, okay.
no, it's just a matter of placing this sculpture on the top or spanning the top of these two trees that are about 3.5 feet from each other.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's exciting.
Is very lucky that they were just sort of, as you said, Marilyn, it's a great location. And there are these two trees. It's like they were waiting for my sculpture. So,
They were. And I
yes.
like the fact that you're talking about mulching the grounds that leads, because that's important. It's gonna look fantastic.
I think so too. I'm not gonna argue. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Yeah, and it's gonna be, yeah.
Okay, okay. And Carol, I hope I didn't cut you off. I was trying to get that in while I could think about it.
Yeah, it's okay. You cut me off, but it's no problem.
Okay, so
Really,
sorry.
all that much to say. So,
So can I get like a few, not a lot, but if you're gonna do your blog post, Carol, then that will be what I'll use in the report that I need to have prepared by the 15th.
I don't know, Alpha. Not top of list at this moment,
Well, if you were gonna do it,
Yeah,
those are one of the things
aspirational.
for debriefing, and I could take,
I
I could go through
I can't promise that.
I could go through the transcripts of our Zoom when you did your report. I went through the pop-up research station looking for our recordings, and we haven't posted them yet because I had asked Liza to not make them public yet, and I was looking for them. And so with the link, folks can look at the weekly reports that we do on Pop-Up Research Station. Just to kind of say that, but I can take what your report was during your during your when you got back and you did the report. I can take
Right.
that language and use that as a debriefing, but it's always good as part of, we did sign off on something that said we would have, our reports and we would have our documentation and stuff like that there. So I
Yeah,
have a report
I
that
mean,
I need to do and get done. I did do some blogging on each of these, and I can take the blog language that I used and add them to the report. But, I'm just asking for what I really need from all of you. All right, that's all I gotta say. I got a lot of other projects too, but I'm contracted to do this one and you know, get the work done. And it seems like it's really coming fast too. You know, it just seems like
Yes.
everything's coming fast. And I couldn't believe that the whole month has passed already since you all were here. And you've been on a road trip and all that driving and been back to Maryland. And here it is, September 2nd already, and the time is really going fast.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about it all. I trust and know that this will all come together well. It's just, it's like the rush is on, but it's going to turn out beautiful. Uh, I trust that we'll even have the perfect weather to go with this. And
Yeah, we need to
again,
look at the almanac. Where's the almanac that tells us what's going to be happening on the 4th? And then the backup plan, because if you're talking about having those workshops and stuff and conversations, then we need to have an indoor classroom kind of space.
now that's what Bill was presenting, right?
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know how that's going to work out during, the presentation of we'll talk about it in the planning, but I think for those workshops, we need to have, we have the classroom outdoor seating right there, but we also, the rooms that you all use, for your meeting space would probably be better for, and more classroom kind of
Right,
for
right,
presentation.
right. I think to my understanding is he's not talking about on October the 4th. Am I right?
We're gonna make sure.
Yeah, because that would be too much. As a matter of fact, I'm even rethinking. We have the Oaks and Folks Gala. That's where the gala came in. Am I saying that right? Gala or gala?
Either way,
Either
spell the
one.
Okay.
same.
Yeah.
And it begins to sound again like the last event where we had two events going on in one day. So I was thinking, now we said gala, Oaks and Folks. I'm trying to see where that would really fit in with the art. And I'm going to say installation. I've used another word. Because
what do you mean when you
Unveiling.
say gala?
well, that was it. That was always, if I could say by Carl, used loosely, gala. But when we define what a gala is, and when we look at what we've experienced from attending galas, this would not really be a gala.
I mean, I
The
thought
gala,
galas were really for fundraising.
they can be, they probably are and can be. I'm really thinking we're going to need to change certainly that gala. That cannot be on there because that is not.
Gala is a social occasion with special entertainment or performances. It has in parentheses a black tie gala that begins with a cocktail reception.
Mm-hmm.
And the way we pronounce it, can you hear? I'll press the button. Gala. Okay. I always go to my dictionary and then press how to pronounce these words. But anyway, that's what it is, and we can take it from there. Some people have a gala as a fundraiser. They list a dress code for formal and sophisticated attire. men expected to wear tuxedos or dark suits. I don't think anybody's gonna come out there like that. While women should wear floor-length gowns or cocktail dresses.
Oh my God. I had to
The,
start
the
shopping.
specific dress code may vary from black tie to creative formal. I like the creative formal. So
Yeah.
always check your invitation. So whatever we set on the invitation, that would be the code, and then so we're using that word. We shouldn't use it. It says cocktail attire, you know, you know, decoding the attire, just cocktail attire, because we will have cocktails, wine and, stuff like that if we're going to
Nice.
go that direction. So dressing,
I
Yeah.
have a question. Is all of this outdoors? Or that's what I'm confused about.
it's outdoors.
It is.
It's
Okay, so
outdoors.
No
I'm sorry.
spike skills.
Well,
cocktails in the woods. Yes? Is that what we're
Yeah.
doing?
yeah,
Sounds like fun to me.
Yeah.
we will probably have a large tent, one of those type of tents
Uh-huh.
that because now this was what Alf and I had came across in our thinking. We will have a dinner served. Am I correct? Catered dinner.
Oh my.
Yeah, just
Wow.
let's go all the way with this.
We should probably
And-
say
I'm not
appetizers.
gonna
We
argue.
can't, we should say
Yeah.
appetizers,
Yeah,
our bites, like if
So
we're
just
planning a
appetizers.
reception as artists are planning a reception. Okay. So
Okay.
most of the times when we have our receptions, you show up, you have your wine, you have your bites, you have conversation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That
Um,
sounds good.
Right.
Not a
And,
sit-down dinner.
Yeah, right. And
with
then
the-
they're going to be walking along a trail. We can have high boys out there, and make it look, a little formal, and then have, create ambiance when we go.
Wow.
And as what we were talking about. But we just have to don't ignore comfort. You know what I mean? We can't afford, tell people to do all of this extravagant stuff when it's in the middle of the day.
Mhm.
It's 12 noon. You don't, and I notice that everyone that comes out and represents their committees, they come out with their t-shirts on that has their commission or their
Mhm.
trustee or
Yeah.
what they do. It's up to you all, that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
but we don't want to overdo it and we also don't want to underdo it. So we just have to kind of meet in the middle somewhere and look at it as a reception in a garden. And then we
Yeah.
have receptions here at Gallery Gishard, and we use the alleyway as a placemaking tool for gathering. We have a garden where we set up high boys out there, or the music, and people float from the gallery experience. And I think that as artists and me as a curator, I think in those terms of bringing people out and then just setting up the ambiance. Now, sometimes you really gotta say to people how you want them to dress in the invitation. But because it's not a work day, it's a celebration that
Mhm.
day, and it's not a work day, so folks won't probably dress up from coming from work, so we'll just have to stage it in the invitation, and or how we show up,
Mhm.
you know.
This
Or
sounds
like,
awfully fancy.
your coolest outdoor attire,
Mhm.
Right. Do
or
consider
something
the
like that.
venue. Do consider the venue. A grand ballroom calls for a full formal attire, while an art gallery gala may allow for more contemporary styles.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
And that's
so you know what I mean? I know that every time we do a networking here or a party here, people just automatically assume that they're going to come and they're part of the artwork with their whole hookup, and their attire and stuff. But, consider the venue, prioritize elegance. So if we set the atmosphere like we did for the Moonlight Social, we set the atmosphere with the lights and bringing people
Mhm.
in. And it was, like outdoor setting, but it was when the village manager showed up, he felt like, the ambiance was set up just the way we set it up, and people enjoyed that, I guess. So
I mean,
just think
one,
about us as artists and how we do things in our gallery, in our gatherings, and then that's
Mhm.
what we'll present, Marilyn.
Alpha, if I could say,
Yes, ma'am.
one thing I learned from the full moon social is it, you have your agenda. So, you get your people, you do your outreach, you get people there, then what? Do you want them? Because for me, um, everybody who arrived was like ready to have some fun. They sat in their usual, Alpha, you taught me this in LA. They sat with the people they already know. Do you want that to be, or do you want them to be able to engage with people who are part of loving that space, but that they may not necessarily know? And I learned from you in Long Beach that that is intentional. If you do nothing, people will stay with their own. If you do something intentionally to mix it up, then you get more of a community gathering where people are connecting with people of like minds, and it makes the community stronger to do that.
Right. And I agree. And I think that that's a charge that we need to give this commission, because we were doing everything and I was one leg out because Bill had COVID, you know what I mean? And then we were just
Yes.
doing what we could
Yeah,
and
yeah.
working with it. And then Marilyn had to go, everybody
Oh,
had
I'm not
something in the afternoon.
criticizing you. I'm
No,
not
no, no.
crit
We're just
Okay.
saying, the way things laid out, but we're so seasoned with the way we do stuff. We just automatically get in it, and do it and
Yeah.
then recognize what needs to be done. But I feel like the charge has to go to the commission. And I think Marilyn has to talk to her commissioners about engaging people beyond cliquish things, and have them, as be guides, or help them not sit around and say, what's next? They need to, well, I just, like someone showed up and said, well, I didn't come to work today. Well, you came in addressed and stuff, and we're doing the Mandela Bill. What part of this are you doing? But they were just doing their part. You know what I mean? I just think that there's things that have to be done through that in the planning, that has to be not only fall on the consultants and the artists to do, but also that Maryland's commissioners have to think about engagement and think about how they want their people that show up. If you're talking about having elected officials come, then someone from the commission should be talking to them, that should be showing them around, should be engaging with them.
Right.
And well, we're running around trying to do the work, what I mean? Setting up, everything and making sure everything's installed and being there an hour or two earlier. And we're always usually the last ones to leave, putting stuff in cars and leaving out. But they could come, and they could come in, casual, comfortable, clothes. And if we're saying gala, then our commission should be fully embracing this opportunity to showcase,
Mm.
this art collection, and then the beautiful, open land that
I
they are in charge of stewarding. So.
Yes, that's the way to build. Build. I hear Marilyn saying she wants to build the community around loving that open space and creating a community setting for education and families and gatherings. So I think those events are really great for doing that, but there is an intentionality about it that will make it more of a powerful event.
Yeah. I know Marilyn is taking notes on that as well. So, all right. So we have 3 minutes left, and I wanted to share with you really quickly the what I got from this is great for what I got from the Roots and Ralph's
yeah.
summer updates. You're familiar with them?
I am, because I'm on the website as well, Alpha.
Okay, right. So right now they sent me, this is the newsletter that they sent, and
Mhm.
talking about their spring and summer event highlights. I really like the layout. you know,
Mhm.
of the conversation and how they
Yep.
enjoyed a meal together, bringing people out. And I know Marilyn had set up a table and barbecue, you know, grilled and stuff for the tree
Mhm.
planting and, you know, different things of using food as a social construct when she's out there working. But these are just some of their highlights of what they did out there. And then the summer solstice. This is the you know, the installation that's out there in the Berlin Wildlife Corridor. And I was on the curatorial committee for this. And let me make it a little larger.
Is that you, Alpha?
No, I'm not out there. I didn't attend, but this is what they did when they went out and kind of, you know, touched up in their installation out there. This installation
Right.
has been there almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
You know, and so
Mhm.
they brought people out there and got them to working. And this is how it looks on top of the,
Oh, it's
Yeah, it's very cool.
awesome.
Very
yeah,
cool.
very cool. Let's see if I can like
Yeah,
that.
they refreshed those branches that they had
Mhm.
originally put in, and it really, you know, I've been there, I've seen it in person, I've gone there, and it's pictures don't do it justice. It's
Is it
really
Not at all.
living? Is it a
very.
living vines that are growing there?
No, no, as far as I know that, I mean, you saw the picture, they were bringing the vines there and, let me see.
Yeah, I can make it large. See there.
Yeah,
So they brought that in and they shaped it,
yeah,
you know, and so every year they come out and then they add the foliage to it.
is it
And they
every
also
year?
are doing programming up there too. It's a beautiful
Mhm.
space to come and
Right.
sit and meditate. And then you look out, you can see the lake from there.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah, it's
Mhm.
beautiful.
yeah.
It's a walk along the trail. I started at the 47th Street entrance, you know, and
Right.
walked and visited all of them, you know, all the way
That's,
to,
that's
you
a
know,
walk, because it
yeah, yeah, it's a walk,
starts at 31st, I think, 31st Street,
right?
starts there
To
and goes south.
Chinatown, you
Yep,
know, and doing 5 communities. And I started 47th Street, you know, for our community over here for Bronzeville. So, but anyway, let me
right.
go back, and this is, you know, a little bit of I don't know how to exit this, but some of the photographs they shared on their newsletter and what's going on with their family day and programming that
Mhm.
they're doing along the way. Um, so this is kind of like another the installation and how the inside of the installation.
Hmm.
Yeah, some more of their work that they're doing, but they haven't really, you know, this newsletter is what they send out, you know, for the afternoon and their gatherings. Things that are coming up as the Earth Jam in Sankofa. This is where they're going to come down and work in my community as well in Bronzeville Neighborhood Farm. And Dorian's doing a lot of work out there. She did the Sankofa for the Earth. And so they're having a jam session around her sculpture and performance. You know, again, it was set up for, you know, each of them when they put their proposals together, it was about how are you going to do community engagement and continue community engagement. And they have a book that a guide that they also put together. This is that medicine wheel I was showing you earlier for the Laronde.
Oh, yeah, I never saw that. So that's at the, that school. Aha. Oh, nice. I didn't see it completed, but
Mhm.
I knew that there was something in the works. Nice.
They're encouraged to enter the space barefoot to foster connection with the earth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I really like the way they laid out their their story and talking about the work that they're doing. And that's one of the things that I want to make sure that we do with Open Lands is really tell our story and talk about the initiative and share it on Facebook. And right now we have things on YouTube that we need to start sharing with the community. And I really kind of like the way the Hazel Crest Facebook page picked up our YouTube stories and start sharing them with their community and by osmosis, basically. Because I just put them on and then they lifted the videos. Carol, I have yours posted as well to start populating around the community. But But anyway, thank you all and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Alpha.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
And
you all.
thank you, Marilyn, for being inspiring.
Yes, yes.
Oh, yes.
You
You
really
all
are.
are definitely inspired. And I always let everyone know a top professional group. So we're not talking about introducing just some flim flam artists to the community.
It's
And
great.
I hate to think about what you mean by flim flam artists.
But
Okay.
they think we're out of our mind because we're so creative. They think we're out of our mind. You know what I mean? It's scattered. You know.
Or maybe fly by night. I don't know. Yeah, we're not fly by night or flim flam.
all of that.
Great.
I
Thank
see
you
you
for the
next week.
compliment. All
All
right.
right. Talk with you.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye bye.